Hello everybody, and just here and welcome back to Spice and Wolf, episode 16, in which we will learn what had Lawrence so panicked. Probably. I mean, hopefully. Right? Hopefully they're not gonna give us like a flashback to 5 years ago or something like that, right? It's not Hulk, is it? But yeah. We're probably gonna see what had him this panicked, and at the same time, what had Holo smiling so much. Because that means it probably wasn't something serious, but it was something that Holo found humorous. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. In the previous episode, in general, I'm gonna be picking at my face because I brushed my cat and I have her fur all over myself. So forgive me that. In the previous episode, Lawrence got in contact with the witch, quote unquote, with Diane Rubens, who either left the church or was excommunicated, either of those, in pursuit of archiving the knowledge and the stories and the culture of the North. And she's also dabbling in alchemy, so, you know, that doesn't help her image in front of the church, of course. He got in contact with her through one... I don't remember his name, and he's not on the list of characters either, so I don't know. Through a dude at the merchant place. And, yeah. And they met. And Kraft, of course, asked the biggest question. Yoitsu, what's the deal with that, right? Where is it exactly? What's the story of it? Stuff like that. And his fears were confirmed that Yoitsu was destroyed by a big, presumably magical bear of some description. A few fair years ago too. So after Holo left, but still, you know, way back in the past. Diane also shared a story of Holo herself. Holo with the Wheathen tail, or whatever was the exact term. Well, it wasn't Holo, it was some other spelling of Holo. Holo? Holuo? Something like that, right? But not straight up Holo. But we know who she meant, of course, right? Her love for wheat, her love for booze, all of that checks out. So Yarei's village was not the only place where Holo stayed for a while and was the deity of harvest for, so to speak. In return, Kraft shared some stories of his own from, I think most of them hailing also from Yarei's village, and of course from his travels, because he traveled a decent bit of the world, or at least a decent bit of the continent, right? We don't know whether there are other continents there. Is there like a new world? Is there the equivalent of Asia, Africa? I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be mentioned, besides maybe in passing. We'll see. We still don't know exactly just how big the world is. I don't think we were shown any, like, you know, full map of the world. But yeah, Lawrence shared those stories with Diane, and Diane told him what's the deal with Yoitsu, which is bad news. Because Holo wants to go back to her village specifically, not just generally to up north, not just find a place for herself, right? None of that. It's specifically return to Yoitsu, and Yoitsu seems to no longer exist. Then again, the destruction of Yoitsu happened quite a few years ago, so chances are it might have been rebuilt, right? I mean, it's been at least... How long was Holo in Yarei's village? 1,000 of years? Couple of hundred at least. that's enough time to rebuild the village, isn't it? So maybe there is a chance that new Yoitsu arose in the place of old Yoitsu, or nearby, at least. Maybe. That's the hope. We'll see, of course, as soon as we make it to the north, which is still gonna take us a good while, because, I mean, this season is 25 episodes, and I don't think the story is gonna conclude in this season, so we'll see in the future. What else happened? Holo went to the festival with Fermi, or Amarty, as he wants to be called, I believe, and she used that fact fully. She drank her fill, she ate her fill, she got like a magic cube, which is just a chunk of pyrite, she got the nice fur, what's it called? Not a necklace, not a coat, not a cloak. Fuck, it's the thing. Whatever, doesn't matter. Neck thing she got, made with fur. Of course, the fur is not as beautiful as her fur on her tail, right? That had to be established, but it's still some nice fur. Poor Fermi must have spent a lot of money on her, but, I mean, she's not one to let an opportunity like that go, and he wanted to spend that money, so, right? The pyrite cube is probably going to be important somehow. I just don't know how, or pyrite in general, maybe. I don't know. The cube was sold or auctioned off, rather, by a person, hooded, cloaked person, who claimed to be able to not tell the future, but tell the information about just various information. I think specifically like the information about the person you love, right? She was able to tell it from the cubes, from the pyrite, apparently, supposedly. So maybe that character is also going to be important. I had my suspicion that it might have been Dian, but no, Dian was spending time with Kraft and the other dude during that time, so probably wasn't her. Maybe someone else. I don't know. There are still a couple of characters from the opening that we haven't met, like the freckled nun girl. So maybe it was her somehow. I don't know. Right? It could be any number of people, any number of things. And at the end, Marx, the fellow merchants, who is he? Apprentice, yeah. Apprentice arrived at Lawrence's place, at Lawrence's room, knocked on the door, and Holo, of course, couldn't help herself, right? Couldn't help herself. She had to, pretend that she's just naked, only covered by a bed sheet, and oh no, I'm indecent. You interrupted us. And the rumor's gonna spread. And the rumor's gonna spread that Kraft is bedding a nun. I mean, I don't know what's the church's stance on celibacy, but presumably it's similar to the real world church. What else? Whatever Kraft heard from that apprentice spooked him very much. He ran away, ran out from the inn, running towards Mark, and all the while Holo was standing on the balcony smiling. So probably nothing tragic, because I don't think Holo would be happy about anybody's tragedy, but also at the same time important enough to have Kraft's pants in a twist. I don't know what's it gonna be. Maybe another rumor. We already know from talking with Mark and his wife in the previous episode. We already know that there are rumors spreading about Kraft and Holo, and now also Amarty, since Holo and Amarty were seen during the festival. So yeah, I'm gonna be very interested seeing where this specific arc of the story is gonna go, right? Like we had so far pretty distinct arcs, right? The wheat arc, the gold arc. This is gonna be the pyrite arc. I don't know. That's my best guess. We'll see. We'll see, of course. But to do that, to see, you're gonna need your subs to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show. And I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching Spice and Wolf episode 16 in 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, what got you so panicked, Craft? Oh? Knight in shining armor? Oh! Right, that's the rumor she spread. Ah. And you want to dual craft for it? Oh boy. Yeah, that confidence is gonna hurt you. Oh, you did your homework then? Yeah? Why? I mean, why would he? Yeah. My camera is flickering again. Is it? Hmm. I was half expecting Amarty to request like a formal duel. But apparently what? He's just gonna pay Lawrence for Holo's freedom and that's it? You don't know Holo. She might very well be, you know, she might very well want to make you a little bit jealous. She might very well play coy here and be like, oh, Amarty-san, you really saved my life. It would be just like her. It would absolutely be just like her. Of course, in the end, she would go with Lawrence anyway, right? But she would not let a chance like that go. Absolutely not. It was gonna be interesting. She might need a better cover, though. I mean, if any, well, not any random person, a merchant with status and connections, but still, if someone was able to do their homework good enough and figure out that she's not actually a registered nun, whatever that means, chances are other people would also be able to find it out, and her cover is gonna be bust. I guess it works for the, you know, just day-to-day cover, right? They're on the road, someone's asking who's she, and, you know, I'm a nun. They're not going to be able to check it in the middle of a forest or whatever, right? But once you get into civilization, once you start dealing with, you know, important people with connections, it's gonna get iffy. Yeah, you could say so. Batos, yeah, that was his name. I mean, no doubt. What do you mean? Is he tied into some shady business? Is it Amati who's peddling pyrite? Wouldn't surprise me, actually. Just walk away. I mean, what else? Does he have a reason to not be confident? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he turned into a little bit of a lady killer, didn't he? At least as far as Holo is concerned. I mean, yeah, but still. It would potentially blow your cover, though. And also, yeah, it would be like him saying, you know, I don't want to let go of someone who's like my debtor, right? I'd rather keep her a shackled to me than get gold, which is not a great look. Yeah, she's already rehearsing. Of course. I guess maybe to a degree. Sure. And my cat's fur is even in my mouth. She knows perfectly how to play him. uh, you have no chance, Lorenz. You have absolutely no chance against Holo. Of course. That's the least you could do. Maybe they have some honeyed peaches, right? True. Yeah. Optics are important. She's a great actress. Yes, actually. Apparently. Yeah. I mean, of course, if there is, you know, such a small selection of gambling, people gotta gamble on whatever. Oh? Did you bet? Yeah, don't underestimate her ears. Oh, something not right with it? Is he catting his flower with sawdust? Fair assumption. Right, he still has some of that, like, childhood innocence, doesn't he? Okay, so a Nepo baby, essentially. Or maybe not. Hmm. Okay, so he's not great at delegating work. But, you know, if you want something done well, do it yourself. Shepherd? Is that a shepherd's horn? Yeah. Or an apprentice, at least. What is it? A fried bun potato dumpling? Okay. Okay, so we're gonna see the festival. That's cool. And church bells as well. Right, you have the balconies. You can watch the festival from the privacy and comfort of your own room, right? Oh, that's the bits and pieces from the opening. Yeah, all sorts of creatures, all sorts of effigies. Basically like parade floats, but made with straw. Something big. I really like seeing the clear tradition here. Right? Like, I've no clue what tradition it is. I've no fucking idea. But I see that it's here. And I love it. Like, I see the, you know, parallels to, like, my own traditions and culture. And I have no idea what this, you know, tall person fighting with a spear means. No clue. I have no idea what, you know, throwing wine around means. No idea. But I see the, you know, similarities. For Christmas, paradoxically, or right before Christmas, there's a tradition of people also walking door to door dressed as the devil, the chimney sweeper, I think, and like someone else, some sort of a fairy creature, and they chase people around and demand payment in sweets and foods and drink, and it's basically it. Yeah, she's just gonna be drinking herself to sleep every day as long as she's in a city, isn't she? Did he strip her completely? Bold, aren't we, Mr. Lawrence? What now? Oh? Maybe read it? Yeah, of course, she's not asleep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he got a little bit more information about Yoitsu as well. But, you know, he's not gonna share that. Are you not happy? Right, she started to enjoy the journey more than the goal, didn't she? She's not gonna let go of it. You don't know what's inside. Oh, she can't read. So even if the letter says, you know, confirmation that Yoitsu been destroyed, she's not gonna be able to read it unless she gets someone to read it for her. I mean, if there's an opportunity, you gotta take it. Oh, pyrite. 100% calling it now. Mm-hmm. That's why he was willing to spend the money on the fortune teller, because the money is coming back to him anyway. Oh. So she's the real deal and uses whatever form of magic exists in this world? Or is she just very good at cold reading? You got a fair bit of pyrite yourself. Probably much more, yeah. God damn. 20 something percent, 20 times rather, increase. Yeah, 27 times increase. Of course. Market, even if something is garbage, you market it properly and people are gonna be killing themselves to buy it. Damn. I mean, with pyrite being essentially worthless, that's like amazing business. I mean, not like you have pyrite with you, so. Hmm. Oh, I don't think that's gonna be necessary. Yeah, full trust there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, gonna make for a much more comfortable journey. Oh, it's like battles of flow. Oh, that's cool. Battles of effigies. Whichever falls off the platform loses. Oh, that's cool. That's so dope. She read the letter, didn't she? She somehow managed to read it. Or was she just pretending? True. True, actually. He wanted to be, certain. No, not really. He was hurting plenty himself. Not that long ago, no. I mean, he was still willing to go through with it, so... No, not really. I mean, you have Lawrence with you. You don't know that. The village was destroyed, but perhaps there's another one, or your people went to Nyohira, maybe. Well, that's straightforward. Oh, Amarty. Hmm. Is she gonna, like, ask Amarty to give her a child? What does the letter say? Seems to me like it says more than just Yoitsu was destroyed. Because he knew that and yet reacted so strongly after reading it. Well, shit. Well, shit. Things are getting interesting in the worst way possible, aren't they? Oh boy. Let's watch this episode again and enjoy the bit that is possible to enjoy, at least. Oh boy. Right. I will repay the debt that weighs upon the thin shoulders of the traveling nun, and once she gains her freedom, I will profess my sincere affections for the traveling nun Holo and request her hand in marriage. Him standing here with the dagger immediately made me think that, oh, they're gonna duel. Like, he's straight up requesting a duel, right? Throwing the glove or throwing the dagger or whatever is the symbol of requesting a duel in this world, and they're just gonna fight to the death or to first blood or whatever other rules. But no, the dagger is apparently here to sign the document, right? Leave a drop of your blood. Which is interesting, seeing how they have no way of testing that the blood actually belongs to you. Do they? Like, test, like signing a paper with like cutting your finger and stamping the paper makes sense when you know, when your world knows, what's it called? Not polygraphy, dactylography? Yeah, no. Fingerprints. Right? That's when it makes sense, because the blood makes for ink, and you. I did not check for disk space, and I just ran out. Any case, what was I? Right, fingerprints, right? It makes sense when your world has the fingerprint technique, because blood makes for ink, and you leave your fingerprint on the paper, and whoever you're doing a deal with leaves fingerprint on the paper. You can check that the fingerprint actually belongs to you, right? Blood itself is not very useful in this way, at least for like DNA testing, because DNA will degrade really quickly. So even nowadays, right, like signing a paper with blood, even though we would be able to, you know, sample the blood and match it to a person, once it's placed on a paper and it dries out and the DNA degrades, well, that's not much of a proof. It's just a bunch of oxidized hemoglobin, essentially. So, you know, it doesn't make sense. But in this case, unless they have some, I don't know, magic techniques or whatever, which doesn't seem to be the case, right? This word doesn't seem to have like a, you know, magic to check that the blood on the paper actually belongs to the two people who signed it. You could just take the blood of, I don't know, whatever, some pig blood or something, and place a drop and it doesn't matter. But I guess they have a lot of witnesses, so this is more of an assurance of the contract. The blood is more symbolic, I think. Yeah, that was a long diatribe about nothing. Focus. There we go. The hardships she has endured. Yeah. You wish to use my status and assets, wings of freedom. I'm confident. Yeah, marriage is... She's not associated with any monastic order. So, do you only have to stay celibate once you're a member of the order? Or, like, can you even be a nun while not being a member of any order? That's also a question. Right? Like, is he essentially saying that because she's a nun who doesn't belong to an order, she's fair game? Or is he saying that she doesn't belong to any order, so she's not a nun, so it's fair game? I don't know. We'll see, maybe, in the future. When a woman is in debt, the creditor becomes her legal guardian. You accept this contractual knife. Yeah, but I'm gonna read the contract first, of course. 1,000 silver trenny coins. That's a lot. That's like new wagon and a shipment of stuff and a couple of horses amount, if I get the value of trenny coins more or less correctly. Yeah, that's a lot. My companion won't be swayed just because a man took her debt, right? I mean, up until the very end of the episode, I would be inclined to agree. But now I'm not so sure. Like, I know that Hello is speaking was speaking at the end of the episode in the heat of the moment. and emotions running wild and not entirely thinking clearly. And Lawrence didn't really do the greatest job explaining himself to her either, so, you know, that's also a problem. So now I'm having my doubts. I'm really having my doubts. Like, it actually makes sense, you know, that they were throughout this entire episode they were just gassing up how you know, how much trust Lawrence has in Holo, how much he believes in her, right? How much he's confident that she's not gonna leave him, only for that to be dashed at the end. It's not the first time that Lawrence got overconfident, mind you. That's probably one of his biggest flaws right now, right? That he can easily get just overconfident where there is no particular reason to be confident, right? He got overconfident taking on debt to buy armor to sell it, and now he got confident about Holo not leaving him, and didn't even bother, you know, securing that outcome by taking the letter with him, which, you know, was probably the best course of action there. Lawrence to Amati for, of course, they're betting on it. Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of scenes with Lawrence and Holo together, so I have, you know, full trust that it's gonna end up well in the end, right? And besides that, we have an entire rest of the season, and I don't think we're gonna like drop the wolf part of Spice and Wolf in episode 16 or 17, right? So they're probably getting together again. No doubt about it. But it's gonna hurt seeing their breakup. Like, not the first time it happens, but usually it was on a much smaller scale and with much lesser intensity than what is to come. Doesn't seem to be a very admirable method. Yeah, of course, he's trading in pyrite. Yeah, a willing traveling companion is a happy thing. Painful for any traveling merchant to lose that. In retrospect, in hindsight, there was a lot of foreshadowing towards what happened at the end, wasn't there? After calculating, yeah, I'm gonna give the rest to you. And yeah, a little bit of, you know, nice banter, and straight up, it's just that I believe in you. And that stumped her. She's not used to Lawrence, you know, responding in kind, so to speak. That's a really nice moment. That's a really nice moment. I always like it when Lawrence just, you know, gives back in kind with banter, with you know, stuff like that. It's always cool to see. Would not refusing to accept Amati's contract also be an admirable act? Sure. Admirable as in feel good. Admirable as in optics? Not really. There were plenty of merchants around. So Lawrence saying that he refuses the contract would be him admitting that he wants to keep Holo shackled. Admitting it to everybody, right? Like, he knows the truth, Holo knows the truth, they both know that she's not really shackled to him. But to everybody around, it would look like, oh, this Lawrence dude really likes his girl. He really doesn't want to let go of her. He refused 1,000 trenny silver. What, 1,000 trenny silver? Oh, I mean, I know she's beautiful, but, you know, is he using her like that? Right? All sorts of rumors would arise from that. So, really, the best option for Lawrence was to agree. My heart would be brimming with happiness, sure. Yeah, she has him in the palm of her hand, dancing in the palm of her hand, really. Various measures behind the scenes. Yeah, I mean, that stands to reason. And a festival. And yeah, Holo is really not helping the rumors, is she? 200 Elaid was recorded in the tax ledgers. That means Amati should have about 800 Treni. So 200 Elaid translates to 800 Treni? Or something like that? I don't know. Yeah, the kid did not forget the side from yesterday. Not much gambling and limited, so they have nice, gambling control. Cool. Higher quality flour. There will be another challenge. What kind of a challenge, though? The mixture quality of this flour. Yeah, I mean, she knows her wheat, so of course she would be able to tell. Amati believes that it's a dirty tactic to use the connection network of the town merchants. He was born as the third son of a rich family, but went out on his own because he didn't want to be kept in the house, and he was able to do everything on his own. Okay, so he basically doesn't want to use the help of the shady people, quote unquote, right? Like, he trusts only himself, essentially, so he doesn't want to use the help of someone who might have perhaps some vested interest in providing him with incorrect information, which, I mean, makes sense if you think about it, but can very easily and very quickly lead to Amarty just burning up, eventually. Burning out, rather. Right? If he just continues doing everything on his own, yeah, there's gonna be a time when he's gonna have to delegate. And will he be able to do that? I don't know. Pretty much only believes his own eyes for the fish, yeah. His own mouth for sales and the blessing of God. Right, so what happens if, I don't know, 2 clients order fish in 2 separate cities? And he can't go both places. He's gonna have to send someone one place. Or does he just deny one of the contracts? Right? That's a loss of opportunity. Yeah, I wonder if that's gonna come into play. We'll see. I never hesitated to use all my connections. I mean, yeah, sure. There's no whining about the battle between merchants. Yeah. And we see the nice bits of the festival. First, the pagan, quote-unquote, horn, then the church's bell. We already see the mixture of those 2 elements. And I really, really love the bits of culture, the bits of tradition here, right? Like, I know that every single mask here signifies something, that those creatures have their names and associated stories and symbolism, right? The one with the deer skull symbolizes something. The one with the bird is probably like the biggest enemy of the deer skull, and they wage a war, and then a god with a spear descends from heavens to separate them, right? There is some story around it. And I don't know this story, but just seeing it happen makes me see that there is a story, that there is a culture, that there is a tradition. Right? Like, those people walking around with spoons, that means something. I don't know what, but something, right? We have a beggar with a spoon. We have some sort of a merchant, I guess, with a spoon. We have maybe a peasant or a hunter. We have a noble lady. We have a knight. We have all those people holding spoons. There is some meaning to it. There is some symbolism. them standing aside, the knight fighting the ram, and this dude with a spear breaking that fight up, pointing towards something. There is a lot of meaning, and I fucking love it. I'm gonna look it up right quick. What's it called even? I'm talking about the tradition, Polish tradition of the people wearing, like, dressing up and walking home to home before Christmas. Can't remember what's it called. It's not Kolenda. That happens after Christmas. Fuck. Maybe I'm going to look it up for the next episode if I remember. I don't want to spend additional time just googling here, especially since I don't know how long this episode in total is, because this segment, after I ran out of disk space, is 14 minutes, but I can't remember how long the previous one was, and I don't want this episode to be like super long either. So opening some big barrels of wine, spreading them around, kind of like, you know, sprinkling holy water on believers, right? Something in that vein. It's great. People dancing among the effigies. A specific, you know, special dance that has specific moves to it. Yeah, it's great. And a nice bit of dancing as well. Yeah, that was very nice to see. Where are we? Where is my drink? Of course, I mean, the most important questions. Yeah. Big mistake leaving this this letter here. Yaitsu should be southwest of Nyohira and east of Lenos. This letter probably has additional information. Right, we might be able to find this place faster than expected. But she doesn't want to find this place fast. She also wants to travel with Lawrence. Huh. It really seems like there are two wolves inside of Holo. One wolf wants to keep traveling without ever reaching the destination, and the other wolf wants to reach the destination. And they're kind of fighting, right? Like, she knows that she should be happy about potentially going to Yoitsu, but at the same time, she knows that whenever they get to Yoitsu, you know, the journey is over and Kraft fulfilled his promise and he will be free to go wherever. So, you know, it's not an ideal situation either. Yeah, big mistake, Lawrence. Big mistake. Easy money made with pyrite. Yeah, apparently it's like 27-fold increased in value. Holy shit. Fortune teller left town. Right. Fortune teller's skills were so good, the inquisitors were cold. Interesting. Usually 10 Iliad, but now 270. Everybody's scrambling to buy them. Yeah, it's a worthless thing, but now it has a brand. Now it has status, right? Now it's a cube of pyrite, but it has, I don't know, Dolce & Gabbana logo on it, basically. That's what it is, and thus automatically it's worth 27 times more. Just like with fucking anything, really. I can get, I know, I can get t-shirts for like 15 zloty a piece. This one, I had to like emergency buy it because I stained the one I had, and I had to buy something, and this was the cheapest they had. But because it's branded Mustang, it cost like 40 zloty, like almost 4 times, well, 2 and some times the amount of any, other regular t-shirt. I mean, it's a nice shirt, but it's not, twice as nice as any cheaper one, and it's not even a well-known brand either. So imagine if people buy, I don't know, what are there like t-shirt brands? Supreme, first thing that comes to mind. How expensive are they, and for what? For the logo, for the brand alone. It doesn't matter what it's made of. It's probably made in the same exact sweatshop in China as t-shirts from Temu or whatever, right? But because it has a logo, because it's sold in a brand store, because it's named like, I know, Levi's Classic or whatever, it automatically sells for 100-fold the amount that it actually costs to produce it. And we see the same thing at work here. Branded pyrite costs more than just, everyday usual pyrite. Except they're the exact fucking same. Competing with each other on how much was spent. Right, because now it's a symbol of status. Right? The wife of the meat merchant has her cube, and you didn't buy me a cube. I also want a cube. I also deserve a cube. Buy me a cube, right? Oh, the Baroness has a cube, but me, a wife of a Viscount, doesn't have one. Go and fetch me a cube, right? Having a cube is a symbol of status. Spending more money on the cube is even more of a symbol of status, right? Oh, I bought my cube for 500 Treni coins. Well, this was the last they had, and I had to auction it for 7,500 Treni coins. Oh my god, you're so much better than me. Right? That's what it is. That's what it is. Whoever you are, I'm going to call you back. I'm sorry. The more women ask for it in sweet voices, the higher they rise in price. Right? The more demand there is, the more expensive is the supply. And yeah, I mean, sure, you couldn't have predicted that, really. How? Right? Like, how could you have gotten into this possible deal? It's not like you knew to buy pyrite. Pyrite, as far as you know, is essentially worthless, so it would make no sense to buy pyrite in the Vatican before coming here. And getting the news about it, I guess it didn't travel fast or far enough for you to not hear about it. I don't know. Maybe they already knew about it in the Vatican and he just didn't hear because he was busy solving his debt issues. I don't know. Could be. Yeah, but chances are there's still gonna be some demand. So we gotta, travel to some other city, maybe grab some pyrite right quick and come back while the price is still high. Don't you need to save money to find yourself a new princess? Another bit of foreshadowing. Will your princess be alright? Yeah, I mean, of course. Always traveling with a destination in mind. I'm traveling alongside her. Of course she's not gonna leave me. I have full trust in her, right? I love the fights of effigies here. Whichever falls off the platform loses. It's, again, another bit of clear example of a tradition and culture that I have no clue about, but I can recognize as tradition and culture. And I really, really enjoy it. The first parallel that immediately comes into my mind is the tradition that we have in Poland of egg during what's it called, the holiday when you eat egg, Easter. Yeah, Easter. During Easter, you take egg, and family member takes egg, and you smash those eggs against each other, and whoever's egg ends up smashed loses. And it's it's just a fun game to have at the Easter table, but similar kind of idea that immediately again came into my head. She read the fucking letter. She can read after all. I no longer have a place to return to. What should I do? Holo is not thinking clearly right now, and I think that once she clears her head, she will be able to make more rational decisions. I think so. I mean, she's not called the wise wolf because she's stupid, right? So hopefully she starts making rational decisions, because right now she's not acting rationally. Plain and simple. Lawrence is actually correct here. They're just old legends. A lot of them are false. Yes. When a new king or people take over an area, they sometimes cover things up. Sure. Yes, absolutely. Right? The king might have arrived to some place and completely decimated a village full of peasants, and people are asking, why did you decimate that village? Those were innocent people. There weren't even any enemy troops in there. So the king says, well, it wasn't us, actually. We just, arrived there and the village was already like that. It must have been a bear, the big celestial bear who destroyed that village, right? It wasn't us. Absolutely not. Right? It's entirely plausible. Kraft made a bit of a miscalculation here. Answering to this question, I wanted to find the right time to tell you. That's never a correct answer. Fucking never. I've seen this answer used so many times in media, and it never ends well. Especially if there exists a much better answer. And the much better answer here is, I wanted to make sure. I didn't want to tell you that until I was sure that either way it's true or false. Right? I told Dian to do some more research and send it to me in a letter that you're holding right now, because I wanted to make sure before I tell you. Apparently, the letter says that, yes, Yoitsu is destroyed, so I'm sorry you didn't learn it from me, but this is when I would have told you had I read the letter. Right? That's what you say. That's how you save the situation. That's how you save your ass. Not by spewing platitudes of, oh, I wanted to wait for the right time. When would it be the right time, Lawrence? When would be the right time? That's usually where answers end. That's usually when the person saying that just loses their voice magically, and they're unable to tell you when would be the right time. Because the truth is, there is no right time to tell someone about their hometown being fucking destroyed. Right? So, very bad answer. I mean, in the first place, him not reading the letter as soon as he got it, that was a bad choice already. But now he just dug himself deeper by giving the wrong answer. Yeah, she's really not acting rationally. When you see that someone is past the point of anger or sadness and starts laughing out of helplessness and ridiculousness of the situation, that's how you know they're past the tipping point. And this is portrayed perfectly here. And of course, she also has a bit of attachment issues that also resurfaced here, right? And all those tiny little situations along the way where Kraft might have told her, I'm gonna get you to Nyohira and gonna go you look for Yoitsu. All those situations where he might have implied they're gonna separate, right? All of them just resurfaced in her mind and were completely recontextualized into, well, of course it makes sense in retrospect that of course he wanted to get rid of me, right? Again, not thinking rationally. It must have been amusing to watch me grow so excited, right? Of course she's ascribing malice to him, because what other reason would there be if not malice, right? You must have known. Now many things make sense. No, they don't, actually. That's the thing here. You make them fit your current outlook. They don't inherently make sense. You love pathetic and weak little lambs, so she believes, right? Because, yeah, sure, Kraft did show a little bit of preference towards Holo acting all, meek and dejected. That's the easiest way for Holo to manipulate him, right? Holo did grow to like Nora, and Holo still believes, Kraft grew to like Nora, and Holo still believes that he had a crush on her, right? And of course it resurfaces. Of course she's gonna be dragging those things from the past just to try and make sense. And in doing so, she strays further and further from the truth. That's basically what's happening here. Who wanted to return to a home that long since disappeared? Why was I foolishly cute, pathetically adorable? Right, of course, that must be why you're traveling with me. Yeah, was that why you told me to go back to Nyohira alone? Right, of course there's no other reason. He must have known already. He must have known, he must have told me to go to Nyohira alone. Which he didn't, by the way. Which he didn't. He said explicitly that we're gonna travel both to Nyohira, and you, Holo, are going from Nyohira to Yoitsu and to chart the path, and I'm gonna follow. He did not say that Holo is gonna travel to Nyohira alone. So she's, do you really think so? Yes, I do. I don't think so. Maybe in the moment. As a game, I'm alone. What should I do? No one's waiting for my return any longer. Nowhere. And that is another assumption created in the heat of the moment. The village was destroyed. Yes. The village is a place. A bunch of buildings. You can rebuild. You can move somewhere else. You can move to another village. You can create a new village. You can spread apart. You can go together. You can start traveling the world. The village might be destroyed, but that doesn't mean there's nobody waiting for your return, Holo. Again, it's entirely plausible that Yoitsu was remade. Entirely 100% possible. Maybe not under the name of Yoitsu. Maybe not in the same place. But if people of Yoitsu survived the attack, they probably rebuilt. If not there, then somewhere else. If they did not rebuild, then they had to go somewhere, and that's where you will find them. Again, maybe not Yoitsu, maybe Nyohira, maybe some other town, maybe some other village. Right? Again, she's not thinking rationally here. I am now alone. I'm here, but no. What are you to me? What am I to you? Big questions. Actually, big questions that honestly do need an answer sooner or later. Is this the best moment to think of those answers and give them? Probably not. But it would be beneficial to, give those answers eventually. To come clear with each other, basically. I do not wish to be alone again. And of course, the, bright idea, have sex with me, give me a child, I'm gonna travel with that child, and I'm not gonna be alone. And of course Lawrence will not agree. I mean, it would be just using Holo, using her altered state of mind. And he's not like that. He's probably also a little bit scared of Holo's state. I mean, she's unpredictable right now. Of the possibility of Holo leaving him. You know, he doesn't have, you know, sex on mind right now. So it's not gonna work. You're good-natured. I did not place any hope in you. That is right, there is someone who loves me. Does he? I mean, maybe. Like, it's a crush. It's love at first sight. But is it the sort of love that you could call love? I don't know. This way you were never flustered from the start. You thought 1,000 silver coins would be worth the loss, did you not? No. Again, not thinking rationally, not asking, not talking. That's also a big mistake here on Lawrence's part as well. Not telling Holo that, you know, sure, we can bicker for a moment, but, you know, I'm gonna be straight with you right now. Those 1,000 coins are gonna help us on our travels. I mean, if we're going to go north, we're gonna need some place to, you know, sleep. Maybe the carriage is kind of open. I was thinking of maybe adding like a canvas covering to it. Maybe buying some furs, some cloaks, buying us some winter clothes, right? Stuff like that. Tell her what you need the money for. Remove any sort of possible doubt. Holo, as composed and wise as she is also extremely fragile. And she is also very easy to just sway out of her composure, right? When she thinks that you are doing something because you want to get rid of her, she just latches onto that conclusion. And it's very hard to convince her otherwise. So Kraft should really put much more care into how he's dealing with Holo. And sure, the banter, that's fine and all, but it has to be underlaid by common understanding as well. Right? That's what I think. That's what I believe. Yeah, running away. Not completely, though. I mean, just sitting down on her bed. So it's not, you know, bad enough for her to run into the night, but still. What exactly did you read? What exactly did you read? He knew that Yoitsu has been destroyed, so what was written in that letter to elicit this sort of a reaction from him? Right? Does it say that Yoitsu was destroyed and every single inhabitant was murdered? Nothing short of that would elicit this sort of a reaction. Traveling merchant's shallow thinking and town merchant's signboard. Traveling merchant's shallow thinking, I mean, that's obviously Kraft, right? And his shallow thinking, yeah, kinda, right? He got overconfident again. He completely discarded the idea of something potentially going wrong. And it is shallow thinking, you can't call it anything else. Town merchant's signboard, town merchant in this context, either Amarty or Mark. Signboard? I don't know. Signboard is a signboard. I can't really find any deeper meaning in it. Oh boy. That was an episode, wasn't it? Alright. So. Good episode for two different reasons. The first half was nice because we got to see Lawrence a little bit on the offensive, so to speak, and a little bit, confident and believing in Holo, trusting Holo, right? And that was nice to see. Them having some nice, fun time at the festival. That was great. Seeing the culture and tradition, unspecified but clearly existent. That was great. And then the second half really surprised me, I'm not gonna lie. It surprised me that Holo is able to read. First of all, like, why would she hide it from Lawrence? I don't know. It surprised me that it happened at all. Again, I had the image of Holo that she's, wise and composed. I would not have expected something like this to happen, but in hindsight, it was kind of obvious that it is going to. Eventually, right? Like, sure, she is wise and composed, but she also has, again, that fragile side. The side that, as she repeats herself incessantly, I don't want to be alone. And whenever that want is threatened, that's when she completely breaks. I just hope that both her and Lawrence grow stronger for it. And I think that's gonna be the case. I mean, again, we're probably not getting rid of the wolf from Spice and Wolf in episode 17. So if Kraft and Holos get separated, it's probably not going to be for that long. So I know ultimately how it's going to end, right? But what? That's a good question, isn't it? But what? But it still pains me to see it happen, Especially when it was so easy to avoid, ultimately, right? Being more open with each other, choosing better words, right? It's that, how do I say it? The bickering that I like so much did not help here either, right? Because it's one thing to bicker about something when you know for sure that it's not going to actually go through. And now that guarantee get broken, right? Like, it's one thing to, I don't know, bicker with your spouse, oh, if you leave the toilet, sit up again, I'm gonna leave you. Oh, I know you won't, right? Like, it's one thing to do that, but then you have to make sure that it doesn't actually become reality. What was I trying to say here exactly? I don't know. Right, what I was trying to say here is that there's room for bickering and there's room for serious discussion, right? There's room to bicker about, I'm gonna leave you if you don't, I don't know, take out the trash. And then there's some time to sit the fuck down and say, hey, yo, serious moment here, right? You gotta take out the trash. I can't do it every morning. I have to go to work early. I have to get the kids, and you don't go get the kids. You work from home. You could at least take out the trash, right? And there's a moment to answer, yeah, I mean, I probably should. If I don't remind me, I'm gonna have to create the habit of doing so. Please help me do that, right? There's time for jokes and there's time for a serious discussion. Same here. There's time for jokes about, oh, you probably, see me as just this cute little creature, and that's probably all you see in me. Oh, of course I do, and I have a very nice lady that I'm talking to, and I can always leave you for her. Right? There's room for that, and there's room for sitting the fuck down and asking a question, what are we? Right? Who am I to you? Who are you to me? And being open and out with the fact that, you know, hey, hello, I said I'm gonna get you to Yoitsu, and I will. I'm not thinking any single moment, I have not thought of leaving you alone, right? I'm going to be with you until we get there at least. And I might even stay with you when we get there, okay? You have my assurance right now, this is the reality. And there's a moment for Holo to sit down and say, hey, okay, I'm glad that you say it, but I'm still very much afraid of being being alone again, right? So I might see the signs of you leaving me, and I might interpret them like so, but you could in those moments reassure me that you're not gonna leave me, and be more mindful of the words you're using, because then you said this, and this, and I was easily able to interpret it as you wanting to leave me, right? And they're gonna have to understand it, I feel. Because right now it's just bickering, it's ribbing, it's fun and games, but then a serious moment comes, and it turns out they have not had a serious conversation about it in a while. So all they have to, you know, to go back to try to figure out the situation is jokes and bickering. And jokes are sometimes serious, sometimes not serious. So which bit of here was serious, which was not? And it's easy to construct your own reality, your own version of the events. So there is room for improvement here, and that improvement would be serious talk. Every now and then. Maybe, I don't know, every evening, eating supper, having a serious talk about the recent events and what's gonna happen from now on. Stuff like that. Maybe once a week, maybe once a month, but, you know, something. Some time. It's gonna be needed. It's gonna be necessary, in my opinion. And it's gonna be probably the only thing that can get them through those hard times and upcoming hard times, because I can only assume that it's not the first time something like that is gonna happen. Yeah. Okay, I think that's it. I think I said my piece. But you guys, you tell me, what did you think of this episode, of my reaction, my theories? I didn't actually note any. Yeah, in the comments below. No spoilers, please, I beg of you. Spoilers can go to my Discord here, also in the description, but not in the comments, please. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to be notified of future videos, not only Spice and Wolf, but also Wasuyu Shy Season 2, Wistoria, QA Isekai, Konosekai wa... yeah, that's the QA Isekai. Bye Bye Earth. Bye Bye Earth is great. Wistoria is great. Isekai Shikkaku, and plenty others coming in the future. Click the bell to be notified of when those videos go out and when I go live, because I do stream sometimes. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Wasuyu, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. You can also support me directly on YouTube, membership, super thanks, super chats, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you don't have to. Share my content, spread the word, it costs absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my one for Patreons: QB without a net, Zerene, Yukiala, Dr. Watt, Friedrich Jung, Akamancer, Marsh, Fassen, and Hans Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to go through what Holo and Lorenz are going through.